What's going on, guys? It's Jared Juggernaut Fitness here, and today I just kind of want to do something different. I want to talk about spirituality. By the way, I got my shit up again. I'm gonna do this wall tomorrow, so yeah, bro. It was just looking kind of barren, so just thought I'd bring the shit back, and maybe I can make it look cooler this time. I'll admit I had some shit on my wall that was like getting really old and discolored, so I won't be putting that back up, but maybe I'll get myself some new posters or some shit, I don't know. So today, guys, I want to talk about spirituality, because spirituality is health, it is fitness to me. It's just mental fitness, if you want to call it that. And there's a guy on here that I really despise, who's obvious opposition, and his name is Vlad Savchuk. This is one of those textbook religious Christians, people that do the worst job when it comes to turning people away from, or excuse me, do the best job. They do the absolute best job when it comes to turning people away from the faith. Because they make Christianity about rules when it shouldn't be. That's not what Jesus intended. Guys, you gotta ask yourself this question, okay? Would someone who dressed like a freaking hippie, who had long hair and sandals, really be about that fucking life? Like, come on, dude. Jesus was an actual fucking, more or less, that's what he was. He was just a hippie, you know? I mean, I don't know if he would appreciate me calling him that, but... You know, in terms of his look and just his laid-back aura, that to me really is what he was, man. Yes, he did say stuff about how, you know, follow everything the Bible says. But guys, listen, man, okay? Jesus wasn't about rules, okay? He wasn't, dude. I don't care what Vlad Savchuk, Mr. Lazy Eye, has to say. This is totally not demonic, me just showing one eye, okay? The all-seeing eye of Horus. Guys, I'm telling you, opposition is fucking out there. And that's what he's trying to do. I personally believe he's trying to turn people away from the faith by making it religion and not relationship. Because, guys, I'm telling you, Jesus is about relationship. It's not about going to fucking church, okay? I should know. I was raised goddamn Catholic, and that shit traumatized me. At one point, I literally thought I was going to hell because I couldn't stop masturbating. Okay. As a young man, you know, 19, 20 years old, yeah, I found out going to Bible study that it was a literal sin to masturbate. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just considered an everyday sin. It was considered a grave sin. I forgot the technical term they used. But it was literally up there with like murder. Spanking your monkey is the same thing as murdering someone, a Catholic. I'm not even joking, bro. I wish I could tell you I was. And that really fucked me up because, you know, I didn't know any better. I was still just a young man, you know, I wasn't really at the point I am now where I can really think for myself, and I was indoctrinated. And because of that, I also missed out on really cool video games. I wouldn't play M-rated games because I was afraid that it would make me lustful or, you know, I guess the violence too. I was thinking like maybe God wouldn't be a fan of intense violence. That's why I actually missed out on the Silent Hill series as a young man. You know, I love Silent Hill. When it came out, I had the demo. I was in 8th grade when the first Silent Hill came out. But when I became, you know, like 20, 19 years old, something like that, you know, I started learning more about Catholicism and all of its fucking bullshit. And yeah, it made my life difficult, bro. I even quit my band, bro. I don't think I've ever shared this on fucking YouTube. But yeah, I quit my band because I was afraid that being in a band would cause me to be promiscuous, you know? Indulging in, you know, the desires of the flesh. It's like, dude, God created sex. He wants you to have sex. Just don't be reckless, dude. Wear a condom, you know. Don't be a complete whore. All right. But you know, so yeah, it cost me a lot, bro. Being indoctrinated. It cost me Silent Hill. It cost me getting laid. Not that I care about that shit, but I do sometimes wonder what would have happened if I stayed in that band. This little punk rock band called Forks for Cows. Yeah, go figure, man. That was actually my creation. That was back when I was a vegan, and I think it had some kind of like vegan message to it. I used to think it was a sin to eat meat too, you know. Not that Jesus ever said that it was, but that was just my own thing. I guess chalk it up to maybe being indoctrinated. But yeah, I thought that was a sin too. I just wanted to do everything I could not to go to hell, bro. Because I'll admit, it did kind of fuck me up. But guys, you gotta understand this, okay? People like Vlad Savchuk, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Yes, the Bible does make it clear it's a sin to, you know, to be a homosexual. But guys, ask yourself this question. Who do you think really created that law? Do you think that was ordained by God? Or do you think that was ordained by some, you know, homophobic piece of shit? Someone who just naturally hated gay people, who hated people that were different from him. Vlad Savchuk, I can promise you, is homophobic. I can just tell he's one of those fucking people. He does not like gays, and that's why he believes it's a sin to be gay. It's that simple, bro. Okay? You know, as a former Catholic, I grew up with little turds just like Vlad. You know, motherfuckers who just are so lame and just square. I don't know how else to describe someone like him. Just a giant square. And these are people who don't think out of the box and who just are very simple-minded. Ask yourself this question, guys, okay? Why do you think it's a sin to be gay? Like, ask yourself that, bro. And this is something that I did struggle with, I will admit, in the past. I think Twitter was kind of turning me into like a fucking extremist. I gotta be real. I think that it was. With all the Deuce Volt shit, I was kind of getting a little too much into that. So, in a way, I'm glad I'm off of social media. Because I could tell I was becoming like a militant Christian. So, yeah, I'm glad I'm off that shit. But, basically what I'm saying, guys, is this. There's no reason why it would be a sin to be homosexual. Okay? There's no reason, dude. Because sin is basically whatever separates you from God. That's what sin is. Being a homosexual isn't going to separate you from God. It won't. You know? They say that it's not biological. Okay. You know? There's plenty of things Christians do that's not biological. It's not biological to own a phone, you know? It's not biological to have AC in your home. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's all man's creation. Just saying. I mean, really, though, if you think about it, like, homosexuality is biological. There are animals out there, you know, who do have gay sex. Like, I would know. I worked at a pet kennel. I'm telling you, there was this one dog, bro. I think it was a Doberman. It would literally hump everything, bro. This thing was a horny motherfucker. Kind of reminded me of myself when I was a young man. But, not that I ever really had gay tendencies, because I didn't. But, I mean, it wouldn't matter if I did. But, yeah, bro, like, this dog, he would hump other male dogs, you know? To say that it's not biological, it's simply not true, bro. Like, animals are wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just fuck and eat. That's what they do. They're not thinking about, like, oh, I need to just have sex so that I can reproduce. I don't think that's in their mindset. I think they just go off of raw instinct and pleasure. You know? Humans are really no different for the most part. Most humans, on their mindset, is really just eating and fucking. You know? Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, God bless, bro. You know, those are two great things. Again, don't get me wrong. God wants us to enjoy life. And it even says that in the Bible. Live life to its full. Eat, drink, and be merry. You know what I mean? and have fucking sex. That would have been funny if they put that in there, but anyways, I think I made my point clear. Guys, listen, I'll just end the video and say this. I understand why some of you guys may think it's a sin. Like, I get it. You know, I was raised, a lot of people are raised to think that being gay is weird. And it's just, it's in your, what's the word? You know what I mean? It's just programmed in your brain. You know what I mean? You know, by friends, by family, by media. You know, most, I mean, I'm from the 90s, bro. Like, I'm from the old school. And while gay was accepted, it wasn't accepted nearly as much as it is now. So, like, if I was born in, like, 2010, 2015, I mean, who knows? Maybe I would be homosexual. I don't know, bro. But, you know, I think honestly, dude, like, everyone's probably at least a little bit gay. You know? That's just kind of how I feel. I know other people believe that too, but, like, you know, it makes you wonder, like, why is it I'm only attracted to women? You know, okay, yeah, there's a biological thing about, you know, wanting to mate and shit like that. Hold on. Oh. That's going to keep women from mating for me right there. I got to stop doing that, okay, bro. But, no, but seriously, like, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, bro. Except that, like, being gay is not a sin. I just wanted to say that, like, it's not, dude. And, as long as you're not hurting anyone, I don't see why anything really is, you know. God wants you to live your life. He wants you to be happy. It's not about rules, guys. It's simply about guidance. That's what the Bible is. That's what the New Testament is. It's just Jesus, more or less, giving people tips to live a better life, you know. It's not rules. And that's another thing, too. Jesus never said anything about, you know, homosexuality being a sin. If it were that important, don't you think he would have said something like, don't be gay, bro? Jesus. You know what I mean? Famous quote from Jesus. Don't be gay, bro. It's just silly, bro. Like, it's homophobia. That's all it is, man. Being gay does not separate you from God. I'm sorry, but I just don't see that. And, you know, what I really wanted to say more than anything, though, is I think what the greatest sin is stuff like LGBTQ. It's a hate group, bro. Like, LGBTQ is not inclusive. If you're a straight white male, you really think they're gonna be okay with you? And that goes with really any color. They don't like straight people. I don't care what they say. I mean, think about it. How come there's no S? You know? How come there's no straight in the LGBTQ? They really just don't like straight people in general. They like gays. They like bisexual. But, you know, there's no straight pride day. How come there's no straight pride day? It's because it's a bigoted organization. I actually would agree with Vlad that LGBTQ is in fact satanic. It is, bro. They have an agenda. It's not it's not about peace and love and, you know, do what thou wilt, as the Satanists love to say. It's not about that. It's about you have to be gay, you have to be bisexual, or you're not accepted in our group. That's just how I see it, man. So yeah, it's, I mean, in that regard, yeah, it is satanic, because I believe that's what the devil wants. He wants a genderless being. You know what I mean? Just when I say a genderless being, I'm talking about those frumpy ass looking motherfuckers. That's not what God intended. God wanted man to look like a man. He wanted woman to look like a woman. But with that said, I mean, you know, it's something that I struggle to understand myself too. Why a man would choose another man over a woman. But that's just because I'm not gay. I've come to accept that there's just something that they must have that I don't. Because I'll be real, I mean, I'd much rather fuck a woman than a man. I've never seen a man and was like, oh yeah, I really gotta hit that, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think really stacked guys look good. I mean, I don't find it like sexual, but like, for example, Eddie Hall, I think he looks fucking amazing. Like, if I did want to fuck a dude, it would probably be someone like that, 350 pounds. Just muscle and just goddamn, fat and muscle, but where it actually looks good. You know what I mean? That to me looks really fucking good. You know what I mean? I would love to look like Eddie Hall. I would love to be 350 pounds stacked. I think that'd be fucking epic, if we're being quite brutally honest. Maybe one day I'll get there. Who the fuck knows? Anyways, guys, I know I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, I just want to make that clear. I think that's a big reason why I was against homosexuality. It was because of LGBTQ. They're basically like the Catholic Church of liberals. You know what I mean? They're about rules. You can't tell me that they're not. When they're not even inclusive. They're not inclusive to straight people. Not unless you're like bisexual straight. You know what I mean? It's kind of a contradiction. But you guys know what I mean. Like, you have to be at least a little bit gay to ride this ride. You know what I mean? If LGBT were a theme park, a theme park ride, that's what it would say. Gotta be this gay to ride this ride, bro. That came out wrong. But seriously, man, like, it's true. And I think that's what turned me off from gay people. And it did, in fact, make me bigoted for a little while. And that probably just came from, growing up Catholic too, because in Catholicism, it is a sin to be gay. I know that, gotta stretch my traps. In some Christian denominations, it's not a sin to be gay. It's more like the old school Christians, like the Protestants, the Catholics, people like that. Can't think of any other religion, but or any other, what do you call it, denomination. I'm basically non-denominational. That is a thing. I'm a non-denominational Christian. I don't belong to any sort of denomination. Jesus wasn't about that life, bro. Jesus was not about labels. Okay? Jesus never even said the word Christian. Like, did you guys even realize that? Like, he never once said the word Christian. And I remember this stupid Catholic lady at this church I went to said that, because he made he quoted to Peter about how on this rock I build my church. And she defended, the Catholic Church for that very reason, the Pope and everything like that, just because he said, on this rock, I build my church. So stupid, bro. I don't even want to get started on the Pope and shit like that, bro. I mean, it's so Illuminati, bro. It's so demonic. It's so occultish. I'm sorry if you can't see that, but Catholicism basically is Satanism. It was actually founded by the Knights Templars, who were a satanic group. And that was the Deuce Volt people, the people who did the, the Crusades. Yeah, they were satanic. They were not Christian, bro. I don't believe that for a second, dude. You know what I mean? And again, that's another reason why I'm glad I'm all fucking X, because I could tell I was starting to veer into all that shit again. I was starting to have like a Catholic relapse. You know, because I thought it was cool. The fucking soldiers all decked out with their swords and shit, like goddamn Dungeons and Dragons. And, I felt like that was the team that would be fighting the LGBTQ, but really it's not. They're both equally evil. Be careful with social media, guys. It can turn you into a monster. Like, it really can. It can make you really bring out the dark side, dude. And again, that's a great reason why I'm glad I'm off, because I do not need another reason to, go down that fucking... I've been down that road as a Catholic. I don't want to go there again. So guys, there's my 20-minute video. I hope you enjoyed, man. God bless all y'all out there, bro. No matter who you are watching this. That's really what I wanted to say, is that, like, God made us all to be different, bro. He didn't make us to just be one thing, heterosexual. Like, for example, here's something that I think will really make a lot of people open up to what I'm saying. Go outside and look at nature, okay? God created all that shit. There's such a beautiful variety of flowers, you know what I mean? And trees and every other flora and fauna. That's how he made people too. He made us all very, very different. And again, that brings me back to, not understanding homosexuals. They're just different from me, I guess, because I've seen gay people who look very straight but are also very gay. You know what I mean? And biologically, logically, that doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, they're obviously not putting up a front. I mean, they really are gay. It's just not something I understand, but that's okay. You don't have to understand it. I still accept it, man. I guess that's pretty much it, bro. God made us all different, dude, and we need to just embrace our differences. And fuck people like Vlad Savchuk. These people just create division, and he can go fuck himself. Like, that's a sin, bro. Creating division. He needs to worry about himself going to hell. Because to me, that's the greatest of all sins. It's causing division, bro. Turning people away from the faith. This guy is part of an agenda. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he were satanic. The one eye thing, it just really makes you scratch your head, bro. It really does. That's all I'm saying, dude. I guess that's pretty much it, guys. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.